Rapper shot and killed during a robbery at a famous LA restaurant. Police say PnB Rock was eating at Roscoe's Chicken and Waffles this afternoon when a man with a gun demanded his jewelry and then opened fire.
Developing news this morning, a well-known rapper is shot and killed during a robbery at a South LA restaurant.
Philadelphia rapper PnB Rock was shot and killed yesterday in South Los Angeles, and as police there try to track down a suspect, members of the music industry here are processing what happened and remembering this man and his talent. Action News reporter Eliana Gomez is live at the Fillmore in Fishtown. Eliana.
September 12, 2022, started like any other day for Raheem Hashim Allen, better known to the world as PnB Rock. The 30-year-old Philadelphia rapper had no idea that this ordinary Monday would become his final day on Earth. At just past 1 p.m., PnB Rock walked into Roscoe's House of Chicken and Waffles on West Manchester Avenue in South Los Angeles with his girlfriend, Stephanie Sabanue. They were simply looking for a good meal at one of LA's most iconic soul food establishments. The couple settled into their booth, ordering what would tragically become PnB Rock's last meal. According to witnesses and police reports, the atmosphere was relaxed and normal. PnB Rock, dressed casually but wearing expensive jewelry that caught the light, was enjoying what seemed like a peaceful lunch date. He had been in Los Angeles working on music and spending time with Stephanie, with whom he shared a young daughter. What PnB Rock didn't know was that his location had been compromised, in a move that would later be scrutinized heavily. At approximately 1:23 p.m., surveillance cameras captured what would unfold as one of the most brazen daylight robberies in recent Los Angeles history.
12:28 p.m. As they wait, a man seated to the right fist bumps the rapper, but the couple is quickly taken to a table. The waitress can later be seen bringing their food. Stephanie posts a photo of their meal to Instagram, geotagging the restaurant's South LA location. But what they don't know, outside in the parking lot, a plot is being hatched to rob the rapper of the $500,000.
A figure in dark clothing and a ski mask entered Roscoe's Chicken and Waffles, moving with clear purpose toward PnB Rock's table. The assailant had been watching, waiting for the perfect moment to strike. According to police reports and witness testimonies, the masked gunman approached PnB Rock's table and immediately demanded his jewelry, specifically targeting the expensive chains and accessories the rapper was known for wearing. The confrontation escalated rapidly when PnB Rock apparently resisted the robbery attempt. In a matter of seconds, the situation turned deadly. The gunman fired multiple shots at close range. PnB Rock was struck once in the chest and twice in the back, wounds that would prove fatal. The shooting created chaos in the restaurant as diners screamed and scrambled for cover. The entire ordeal lasted less than 90 seconds. But those brief moments would end the life of one of Philadelphia's most promising musical talents. During the shooting, the gunman also threatened PnB Rock's girlfriend, creating additional terror in an already horrific situation. After taking PnB Rock's jewelry, the assailant fled the scene, leaving behind a wounded rapper fighting for his life and a restaurant full of traumatized witnesses. The Los Angeles Fire Department paramedics arrived at Roscoe's within minutes of the 911 calls, but the damage had already been done. PnB Rock lay critically wounded, his life hanging in the balance as emergency medical technicians worked desperately to stabilize him. The chest wound had caused significant internal bleeding, while the shots to his back had damaged vital organs. Paramedics immediately began life-saving procedures, working to control the bleeding and maintain PnB Rock's vital signs. The rapper was conscious, but in severe distress as he was loaded into the ambulance. Witnesses described the scene as chaotic yet professionally handled, with first responders doing everything possible to preserve life. The ambulance raced through South Los Angeles streets toward the nearest trauma center, with paramedics continuing CPR and other life-saving measures en route. Despite their best efforts, PnB Rock's injuries were too severe. The combination of the chest wound and blood loss from the back wounds created a medical emergency that proved insurmountable. At the hospital, trauma surgeons took over, but the damage was too extensive. Raheem Hashim Allen, known to millions as PnB Rock, was pronounced dead, becoming another tragic victim of street violence in a city already struggling with rising crime rates. In June 2014, PnB Rock released his debut mixtape, Real in *Gabangas, marking his official entry into Philadelphia's competitive hip-hop scene. The project was raw, honest, and deeply personal, drawing from his experiences growing up in Germantown, losing his father, and spending time in prison. While the mixtape enjoyed moderate success locally, it was clear that Allen had found his calling. The music industry took notice of this young artist who could seamlessly blend rap with melody, creating songs that were both street-credible and radio-friendly. His ability to sing hooks while delivering hard-hitting verses set him apart from other Philadelphia rappers trying to make their mark. Record labels began reaching out, recognizing that PnB Rock represented something new in hip-hop, an artist who could appeal to both the streets and mainstream audiences. His sound was distinctly Philadelphia, but with universal appeal that could translate to markets across the country. PnB Rock's breakthrough came with the release of Fleek in 2015, followed by Selfish in 2016. These songs showcased his unique ability to create catchy, melodic tracks that maintained street authenticity while appealing to mainstream audiences. Selfish particularly resonated with listeners, eventually peaking at number 51 on the Billboard Hot 100 chart. The success of these singles established PnB Rock as one of Philadelphia's most promising new artists. His sound was fresh and contemporary, incorporating elements of trap music, R&B, and traditional rap in ways that felt natural rather than forced. Radio stations across the country began adding his music to their playlists, and streaming platforms saw his numbers consistently climbing. Selfish became more than just a hit song. It became a cultural moment. The track's exploration of relationships and loyalty resonated with young listeners who saw their own experiences reflected in PnB Rock's lyrics. Music videos garnered millions of views, and social media buzz around the artist continued to build momentum. This success opened doors to collaborations with other major artists and established PnB Rock as a legitimate force in contemporary hip-hop. The kid from Germantown who had once robbed people to survive was now being courted by some of the biggest names in music. In 2017, PnB Rock received one of hip-hop's most coveted honors when he was selected as part of XXL Magazine's freshman class. This annual recognition, which has previously highlighted artists like Kendrick Lamar, J. Cole, and Future before they became superstars, represented validation from the hip-hop community that PnB Rock was considered among the most promising new artists in the genre. Being chosen for the XXL freshman class meant more than just recognition. It provided a platform to showcase his skills alongside other rising stars, participate in collaborative projects, and gain exposure to industry executives and tastemakers who could further his career. The freestyle sessions and interviews that accompanied the XXL feature demonstrated PnB Rock's versatility as an artist. He could handle different styles of beats, work collaboratively with other artists, and articulate his vision for his music and career in ways that impressed both fans and industry professionals. This recognition also meant that PnB Rock had officially transcended his Philadelphia roots to become a nationally recognized artist. While he remained proud of where he came from and continued to represent his city, he was now operating on a much larger stage. Within hours of PnB Rock's death, the Los Angeles Police Department launched a comprehensive investigation into the shooting. LAPD Chief Michelle Moore personally addressed the media, acknowledging the high-profile nature of the case and the department's commitment to finding those responsible. Investigators immediately began collecting evidence from the crime scene, interviewing witnesses, and reviewing surveillance footage from Roscoe's and surrounding businesses.
I heard everything. I was in there buying me something. If somebody shot, they flipping around like Flipper. You try to go help.
The 30-year-old was pronounced dead at the hospital. The search now on for his killer and a getaway driver. Fans say the robbery wasn't by chance.
His girlfriend posted on his story their location. And, you know, if you're famous, you know not to post your location anywhere. So I really just feel like it's a lot of setups been going on and stuff.
The restaurant's security cameras had captured portions of the incident, providing crucial evidence about the shooter's appearance and behavior. The investigation revealed that this was not a random crime, but a targeted robbery that had likely been planned after the shooter or his associates saw the Instagram post revealing PnB Rock's location. The speed with which the crime occurred suggested the perpetrators had been watching and waiting for the right moment to strike. LAPD detectives also began examining PnB Rock's recent activities, social media presence, and any potential conflicts that might have motivated the attack. However, early evidence suggested this was purely a robbery gone wrong rather than a personal vendetta or ongoing dispute. Just weeks after PnB Rock's murder, LAPD investigators made significant progress in their case. 3 suspects were identified and arrested in connection with the shooting: Freddie Lee Trone, 40, his 17-year-old son, whose name was withheld due to his minor status, and Chantel Trone, 32. The investigation revealed that Freddie Lee Trone had orchestrated the robbery and used his teenage son to carry out the actual shooting. This detail added another layer of tragedy to an already devastating case. A father had involved his own child in a violent crime that would destroy multiple lives. Chantel Trone was charged as an accessory, accused of helping the others plan and execute the robbery. In August 2024, a Los Angeles County jury found Freddie Lee Trone guilty of murder in connection with PnB Rock's death. The verdict came after deliberations that considered the extensive evidence presented by prosecutors over the course of the trial. Trone was sentenced to life in prison without the possibility of parole, ensuring he would never again be able to harm innocent people or corrupt young family members into criminal activity. The sentence reflected the severity of his crimes and the impact his actions had on PnB Rock's family, friends, and fans. His 17-year-old son, who actually pulled the trigger, was sentenced in juvenile court to a term that will keep him incarcerated until he reaches adulthood. The tragic irony of a father destroying both his victim's life and his own son's future was not lost on observers of the case. Chantel Trone also received significant prison time for her role in planning and facilitating the robbery. The sentences brought a measure of justice to a case that had devastated the hip-hop community and PnB Rock's loved ones.
Ordered his then 17-year-old son to go in and rob Allen. The teen was armed with a gun. The rapper was shot and killed and his jewelry stolen. This is Freddie Trone in court earlier today when he heard Rakim's mother and aunt give their victim impact statements. The court did not allow the camera to show their faces. The first to speak to Trone was Rakim's mother.
Rakim was a shining light in our family. He was a star to us. He was our Michael Jackson, and we are devastated. We are trying to live with this, but it's very hard.
Trone was sentenced to 31 years and 4 months to life in state prison. The second person to speak was the late rapper's aunt.
He worked very hard for everything he achieved, always trying to provide for his mom and his 4 brothers to create a better future. But in an instant, his life was stolen, leaving a void that will never be filled.
Another defendant, Tremont Jones, was sentenced to 12 years for his part in the robbery that day. Rakim's mother and aunt also told Jones that he and Trone had caused them a lot of pain.
PnB Rock's death created immeasurable pain for those closest to him, particularly his girlfriend Stephanie Sabanuang and their young daughter. Stephanie, who had been present during the shooting and witnessed the trauma firsthand, faced not only grief, but also survivor's guilt and public scrutiny over her Instagram post. His daughter, still very young at the time of his death, would grow up without her father's presence, repeating the cycle of fatherlessness that had marked PnB Rock's own childhood.
Let's say you had the opportunity, to go back. If you could tell PnB Rock one thing while he was still here, what would you tell him?
I feel like that day when we were at lunch, I told him everything. Like, we really had a heart-to-heart talk. And it was so crazy that day I was in the shower. God told me, I was in the shower. He said, sit down in the shower. He said, today is going to be a long day. And he was like, y'all about to go to lunch, and I want you to tell him how you feel. And I was like, how I feel? And he was like, I want you to tell him. Because Rock wanted to marry me for a long time. I was like, I'm not marrying you till you go through God. Like, I was like not playing. Like, when you go through God and you get baptized, that's when I'll marry you. Like, you need to show me that you're stable, like you got some stability, then I'll think about it. So when I was sitting down in the shower, he was like, you gonna tell him you want to marry him. You're gonna tell him you're ready now and that he your husband. So when we was at lunch, and I was like, I think I'm ready now. And all this time, like, I didn't think he was my husband, but I was like, but I know you're my husband now, like, and I'm ready.
The tragic irony was that he had worked so hard to be the father he never had, only to have that opportunity stolen from him and his child. PnB Rock's mother and extended family also struggled with the loss of someone who had become their primary source of financial stability and hope. His success had lifted his entire family, and his death left them not only mourning, but also facing an uncertain future. The family's pain was compounded by the public nature of the crime and the ongoing legal proceedings, which kept their trauma in the spotlight for months and years after his death. In the aftermath of PnB Rock's death, communities across Philadelphia and beyond began examining the lessons that could be learned from his tragic story. His life represented both the possibilities and the perils facing young people from urban communities trying to achieve success. Educational programs began incorporating PnB Rock's story as both inspiration and cautionary tale, showing how talent and determination could lead to incredible achievements, while also highlighting the ongoing dangers that success couldn't necessarily protect against. His death also sparked conversations about social media responsibility, particularly among young people who regularly share their locations and activities online. The direct connection between Stephanie's Instagram post and the robbery that killed PnB Rock served as a stark warning about the potential consequences of oversharing. Community leaders used PnB Rock's story to advocate for better support systems for successful individuals returning to or visiting their home communities, recognizing that fame and wealth could make people targets rather than just sources of pride. 2 years after his death, PnB Rock is remembered as a talented artist who overcame significant obstacles to achieve his dreams. His transformation from a troubled youth in Philadelphia to a nationally recognized recording artist continues to inspire young people facing similar challenges. Memorial services and tribute concerts have kept his memory alive, while his music continues reaching new audiences. The authenticity he brought to his music ensures his artistic legacy will endure beyond the tragic circumstances of his death. Perhaps most importantly, PnB Rock's story serves as a reminder of the human cost of violence and dreams lost when young lives are cut short. His legacy challenges us to protect our artists, address violence in our communities, and remember that behind every headline is a real person with hopes, dreams, and people who love them. Rakim Hashim Allen, PnB Rock, was more than a tragedy. He was a son, father, partner, and artist who touched millions through his music. While his life was cut short, his impact on hip-hop culture ensures his legacy will live on. Gone but never forgotten, his voice continues speaking through his music, a reminder of both human potential and the vigilance required to protect those who reach it.